Okay, everybody, welcome to Thunderdome 1.2 Citizenship. Here we go. This is going to work this time. So, maybe it's not. What's happening here? What did you guys do to my stuff? Okay, jeez Louise. You don't have to take notes if you don't want to. They're on there, filled out for you on Canvas. And if you do want to take notes, I put the blanks on there so you can keep up and just act like you're in class like this is a normal year. Maybe it's like 2019 or something.
I wish.
Okay, so path to citizenship. The 14th Amendment of the United States Constitution defines us as a citizen. So anyone born or naturalized in the United States. Born or naturalized. What does naturalized mean? Well, it means becoming a citizen. So there's a process to that. And then again, we have e pluribus unum, which means out of many, one. That's written on our Great Seal. So again, the 14th Amendment defines that. The 14th Amendment is actually is a really interesting amendment. It gives equal protection under the Constitution to all people, as long as you're a citizen. And people use that a whole lot in civil rights, equality stuff, all that kind of stuff. So it provides, I don't know, almost like a battleground for people to say, well, they get this, so what about me? So, okay. What is the deal? Did this thing just stop working?
Are the batteries dead?
Batteries might be dead. I don't know. Somebody go over to my seat. Click for me.
Gotcha.
What? No, you need to be there. How many people do we need? Come on. Hey, everybody, we're not cutting this on the video. We need to. The people need to see.
The struggle.
All right. Citizenship by birth. So 1, a person born in any of the 50 states or Washington, D.C., unless the parents are foreign dignitaries at the time. 2, a person born in American territory or on American soil in foreign lands. Number 3, a person born on American soil to non-U.S. citizens. A person born to parents or a parent who has United States citizenship. Those are the ways that you can be born into citizenship in the United States.
Wait, so even if like both parents would be immigrants and you were born here in the U.S., you would be considered an American citizen?
Yes.
That's why people like from Cuba, like during the 90s and stuff, wanted to.
Right. A lot of people used to come here illegally, have the child, and the child would be an American citizen. That has happened very
So
often.
that doesn't apply anymore?
It still works.
Really?
Yeah.
So the thing like on American soil, on like foreign land, if you're born on a military base, you're still considered an American citizen.
Right, yes. So if foreign land, you're on a military base, you're born, you're still considered an American citizen. Specifically because your parents probably are too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so naturalization, process by which a foreigner can become a United States citizen. So this is the process. Both of my grandparents went through it on my dad's side. So aliens, we call them, or undocumented immigrants is probably the better way to say it these days, but illegal aliens, non-citizens, so not all become citizens. About 7% of the United States population are non-citizens, meaning that we have more people in the United States than our census would probably, well, more than what we would know as of this moment. So about 350 citizens, and probably 7% of that added on. Immigrants, more than 500,000 become citizens every year. And the end of that process, you have to actually take an oath. So steps of naturalization, 6 steps here. So declaration of intent, right, explains why a person wants to become a United States citizen. You actually have to fill that out, send it in. There's a waiting period, so typically 5 years, 3 years if married to a United States citizen. And that's always like a little workaround, if you've watched 90 Day Fiancé or anything like that. Mm-hmm. Application for citizenship, So formal paperwork that testifies that an applicant is eligible to continue the process of becoming a citizen. You must be 18 years old, must live at least 3 months in the state where they seek naturalization. Next one. Then you have an interview. So the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, the USCIS, will interview the applicant, and they must meet the criteria of good moral character and intent. So the intent would be like to find a job and be a productive citizen. And then 5, the citizenship exam, which you guys are probably in the process of doing right now, kind of. So that's one of your assignments right now, the citizenship test. Pick 60 out of 120 some questions to answer. So it's a written test of American history, government, and citizenship that you have to pass to become a citizen. And then finally, you take an oath of allegiance. So at the ceremony, the candidate must swear an oath of allegiance to the United States. And that might seem a little dated to some people, but it's very true. Right there is the oath. You know. Okay. Loss of citizenship, denaturalization. So loss of citizenship through fraud or deception during the naturalization process. So okay, we're in the naturalization process, we're becoming a citizen, but then you lied about something or turned in false documents. That is going to be yanked away from you so fast. Okay?
That happens quite often, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does happen. More often than you think. But not like, it's not happening like massive amounts, but yes, it does happen pretty often. Expatriation. When an individual gives up their citizenship in order to live in another country. And that happens in some cases. It's kind of rare. Sometimes you can become a dual citizen. You guys probably know that. And then punishment for a crime. If convicted of a certain federal crime, treason, participation in a rebellion, attempts to overthrow the government by violent means, you're exiled. Okay? I don't know. You don't hear about that happening very often. But say it again.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so in relation to myself, for example,
Uh-huh.
when you talk about dual citizenship, because my mom is from a different country, but she married into, you know, my dad because he's from America,
Uh-huh.
would I be able to get dual citizenship from both countries because I'm American and I'm Israeli?
So, yes. Specifically, I know that in Israel you can do that. So, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, you might know more about this than I do, but you could apply to actually go to Israel, serve your 2 years of time in
My
the
cousin did that.
yeah,
She,
in the Israeli army, right?
yeah, she did that because she graduated from Ashland, and then her mom is from Israel as well, so she did that, and then she moved back to the States and lived in
Are you talking about Natalie?
like that. Yeah,
I love her.
that's my cousin.
Yeah, she's one of my favorite students of all time. Okay, so aliens in America, illegal aliens, undocumented immigrants, that's what they're called now. Over 11 million in the United States today. They enter the country as visitors, never leave, illegally cross our borders, stay after their legal permits have expired. They can be deported if caught, sent back to their own country. Then you have legal aliens. Those people exist all over the place as well. So residents, non-resident aliens, that's what they could be called, refugees. They lead lives much like American citizens. They can't vote, they can't run for office, they can't serve on juries, they can't hold government jobs, but everything else they do. They must carry an ID at all times. All right, so moving on from like how to become a citizen and also just being born into citizenship, we have rights of United States citizens. So things we're allowed to do as United States citizens. So we have security rights, protection from unfair actions by the government. We'll go over those once we go through the Constitution. We have equality rights, equal treatment under the law. I just mentioned one of them to you, the 14th Amendment. And then liberty rights, rights guaranteed under the Constitution, which happen to be individual rights, and those are pretty much listed as your first 10 amendments to the Constitution called the Bill of Rights. So that's pretty easy to understand what you're allowed to do as a United States citizen. Now, these are things that we must do. Now this is your exit ticket. So duties of United States citizens, okay? That is the answer to the exit ticket. Duties. 1, you got to obey the law. If you don't, obviously you get arrested, right? There's this thing called rule of law, and that's pretty much saying that nobody is above the law. Well, my example for this would be like if Trump was driving, and he's the president of the United States at this moment, and then he's driving, which he doesn't drive at all anymore, and he gets pulled over because he was speeding. Under rule of law, he'd get a ticket. Okay? That's what it means. Nobody is above the law. Okay? So the Constitution is supreme. Number 2, pay taxes. I hate that. I hate taxes. Everybody hates taxes. You guys don't necessarily deal with that at your age. You would get all of your taxes back as long as you weren't 18. But yeah, apparently there's 2 things you do in life. I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but you die and you pay taxes. There's 2 guarantees in life. That's a nice little quote that is out there. But it's the government's #1 source of revenue. I mean, how does the government do what it does? How does the government protect you? How does the government provide services to you? Taxes. Number 3, defend the nation. That's a duty of the United States citizen. All males 18 to 25 must register for selective service. Selective service is just being able to be drafted. So, okay, you graduated high school. Usually this can happen at the DMV. Sometimes it happens at school, and you sign the selective service thing saying your age and your name and all that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, you've signed up for the selective service draft. You could be drafted if it gets to that. It is a duty of a United States citizen to do that.
Is that still a thing?
Oh yeah. Still happening today. And then you have to serve in court if you're called for jury duty or you're subpoenaed to court, which is just a summons to come to court. You have to come. If not, you break the law. And then you have to attend school until 16 years of age. Those are the duties of a United States citizen. Those are things we must do. Now here's things we should do. Responsibilities. Be informed. If you're informed and you take in, unbiased news sources and you make your own decisions about things and all that will help you make better political decisions, which is what a lot of people do these days, make political decisions, right? And then that's voting. That happens to be our next thing that we should do, vote. Nobody's saying, voting is not mandatory. Here in the United States, some places it is. I think our voter turnout usually on general elections, which would be presidential elections, somewhere around 60% of the voting population. 60% out of 250 million voters. That's who's deciding our general election, our presidential election, whatever it is, maybe our primary, whatever it is. We're missing 100 million people there.
Well, some of them can't vote, right?
Some of them can't vote because of age.
Or like
Criminal.
Or no, what if they're refugees or like they're
Yeah, we're talking about United States citizens.
Okay.
Yeah,
What if they're like a convict or what
that
is it?
depends. It depends on the state, I think. But so 250 eligible voters, meaning 100 million can't do it. You guys, if you're under 18, you can't vote, right? That's what we're talking about with the other 100 million. 250 eligible voters, and then 60% of that ends up voting. In Australia, they have mandatory voting. And guess what the voter turnout is? 97%. Guess what the fine is if you don't vote?
Huh.
$20. So if you don't vote, you have to pay $20.
Oh no.
I say we do that in America.
I mean, if we did, but this is the thing. Would they be informed, or would they just vote to not pay $20?
That's true.
So voting,
You gotta take a survey. Or
There are
like,
still so many people that voted and don't know anything.
oh, of course, for sure. So, okay, responsibilities, things we should do, vote. We don't have to do it, but it's something we should do. Participate in your community and your government. I mean, you should be active. I mean, if you want to see how things get done, it really starts, it's called grassroots, right? It starts at the bottom, which would be local government, and it eventually filters its way up top. And things change more quickly at the local, state level than they do at the federal level. I mean, look at marijuana decriminalization, right? So, I mean, it's changing at the state level almost every single election, but at the federal level, it's still stagnant. Federal level is always going to change last. So, be participatory in your community and in your government and your community, and you'll start seeing changes.
It's legal in Colorado and California, right?
Yeah. Over half of the population of the United States it is decriminalized. Okay, respect rights and property of others. So, that's things, again, things we should do. Does everybody do this? No. But we should practice tolerance, accepting others regardless of their differences. There's this thing in psychology that I teach, it's called the theory of mind. And once you get to this point, when you get theory of mind, it's actually a cognitive ability, that you understand that other people have grown up different than you, other people have different life experiences than you, other people are surrounding themselves with a different environment than you, and other people have different viewpoints than you. And once you start realizing that, then it kind of, you kind of break free from like, oh, what are they thinking? Why are they thinking like that? Blah, blah, blah. You don't know because of just their life experience up to that point is just not like yours. They see the world a little bit different. So if we can practice tolerance, we can accept that people do see the world a little bit different. I think there's extremes, obviously. I mean, if you see the world extremely and you use violence or something like that, that might be something that I would not be able to tolerate or people would not be able to tolerate. And then number 5, contribute to the common good. Ooh, the common good. Common good, everybody.
Let's talk about it.
It's exactly what it says it is. The common good. As long as you're out there doing what you got to do to, again, help the community, help yourself, help future generations, it's good. Improve community life for all citizens. All right, so that's it for today.
The projector went out.
No, my producer number 2 got it. Okay, any questions from the gallery? Shut that off. Press the record button. Ooh.
Is it on the side or where is it?
Right. Nope.
You gotta end with the.
Right. Oh yeah.
Wait, I thought we'd...
Thunderdome and then press it. Come on, guys.
How you doing it?
Press the button.
Is it on the side?
It's the red button,
Oh my
red
God.
button, right there. You got it. You got it. Oh, you had your thumb on it.
This one?